Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 138. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host. He's a Kingdom Hearts fanboy, Montrell Rice.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Montrell, let's just dive right into it. The biggest news of the year, of the century, perhaps. The mad fuckers did it. Sora's coming to Smash Bros. Sakurai is an absolute monster. What a boss. He did it, man. He did it. He did it.
Yeah, I can't believe he did it. Like, I was super hyped. This is one of the rare times in which our podcast is on Tuesdays because I was like dummy hype on it. What was the reveal? Monday or Tuesday? That shit was crazy.
I think it was Tuesday. This week feels like it was been about a month long. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it was Tuesday though.
Okay, yeah. I was super hyped. I'm probably still gonna buy the game or still buy Sora and everything of that nature. I'm not gonna immediately jump into Super Smash Brothers, but I am gonna buy Sora.
I mean, I bought the game again.
Yeah, I know you did. So I'm gonna update it. I'm gonna have to update it, and I'm gonna buy Sora. And then when everyone wants to play it, then yeah, because I'm not buying it. Everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm super hyped for it though. And actually, it just made me want to play Kingdom Hearts again. Like I watched the entire trailer. I'm like, fuck.
I saw you tweeting. Man. And then I'm like sitting there, man. Do I want to play it again? I just played through the whole series 3 years ago. You know, I don't think I can do it again right so soon.
I'm not playing through the entire. I'm playing 1, 2, and 3.
And then am I ready? Am I ready to play through 3 again? Like, am I ready to like get that monkey off the back? You know, to like finally forgive.
Well, you'll be
that
playing
game
the updated version of 3 too,
right?
So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Am I finally ready to forgive that game and give it another shot with the updates and the DLC and see if it's better? I don't know. And the other thing, you say you're just gonna play 1, 2, and 3, but dude, you're like, I mean, no offense, but you're skipping great games there, like Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop. I mean, in my opinion, are excellent.
Okay,
so
this is a hot take. I know a lot of people. I know. No. I actually like Dream Drop Distance way more than I like Birth by Sleep. I think Birth by Sleep overstays its fucking welcome. That's just my hot take. I think it does.
Okay, in what way? What way do you mean that?
I just think.
We're going down a rabbit hole, folks. Buckle up.
I think the board game mini game.
Oh yeah, that shit's annoying.
Is annoying. I think.
Well, it was cool for like 5 hours.
Yeah,
and then it's not cool anymore.
And if you try to max out, like, say, like you start out with Ventus or whatever, and you try to max out that character, and then you're like, oh, I got another third of the game to go through because I got to play with Aqua now. Then I got to play with Terra now, and it overstays its welcome because you feel like you're not getting the like. For me, I knew I wasn't getting the best version of Terra. He was my last character I played. So I knew I wasn't getting the best version of Terra when I played it.
You played it out of order, though, then. So you're supposed to play Terra, Ventus, then Aqua. That's like the canon.
Yeah.
That's like the order you're supposed to go in.
And I put it together, you know, whatever. And I was just like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But by the time I got to Terra, like, I was like, oh, my God, I just want to fucking finish this game. So I rushed through this section.
Yeah, from a gameplay standpoint, I actually feel like there is a progression where Terra's kind of the worst character. Like he plays the worst and he has some of the worst abilities.
Okay.
Like at least that's how I felt. I mean, Ventus is close. Like him and Ventus aren't that good. Aqua to me is completely fucking overpowered. Like she's insane.
Yeah.
Like her magic capabilities are fucking nuts. Like she just hits like a truck and she has great skills. Terra is so like physical focused that it is an issue against certain bosses. And he has like no way to hit from a distance really.
Yeah.
And then Ventus is just too split down the middle. Like he's not good at either one of them really, in my opinion. So also Terra has the worst dodge animation too.
Yeah. So I just think and I'm not saying it's a bad game. I like the game a lot, and I like the story. I like the gameplay. I just think for me, it kind of overstays its welcome. That's why out of those two, like I will be playing Dream Drop Distance, but I might skip Birth by Sleep. I'm like,
I like
I
Birth
might
by
skip
Sleep. I
that.
really like Birth by Sleep a lot. I know that game gets a bad rap. I know people say the gameplay is bad, and I've seen videos breaking it down. And I mean, I understand those things. I acknowledge those things. The voice acting's bad as well. All the characters have terrible voice acting except for Xehanort. He's literally the only character in the game that has good voice acting. R.I.P. Leonard Nimoy. Um, and he is just like joy every time he's on the fucking screen, and then everybody else is like the worst. Like fucking Aqua, I cannot. She's so wooden and just emotionless in the game. So it's like I get it. The game has problems. It's just like the actual plot of the game is really fucking good though, you know. And it's like it's a shame that it's got this rapper that like kind of crumples it, you know.
No,
Um,
I get it. I love the context it adds to the story and everything. I think it's a really good game. It's just
mhm.
um I don't know. There is a such thing as is like dragging it out, right? And I'm just like, yeah, you guys drag this shit the fuck out. But I
Yeah.
understand because of so much it's narrative focus. It's like really you need to drag all that out to get what's going on. And I'm just like, oh my god, like it's very overwhelming. And like at the time, I was just like, I really just want to I really just want to play the game. Like I really just want to move
Yeah.
on to the next game. I think that was my issue. I just really wanted to move on to the next game, or I really wanted to play
Mhm.
like Kingdom Hearts 1 because I really wanted to play Kingdom Hearts 2. Um, but even when I played Kingdom Hearts 2, I forgot I had to go through fucking Chain of Memories, and I was like, I'm
Nah,
not
bro.
doing it.
No, that's the skip.
Yeah,
That's the one you
that
skip.
I skipped that shit
Yeah,
so
fuck
hard.
that
I
game.
played I played 2 hours of that game. I'm like, you know what? I,
Yeah.
I saw people do crazy, insane combos in this game, but you know what? It's not. I'm not a card playing person, so it's like it's definitely not for me. I'm not a card game playing
I
person.
mean, I
Uh,
am, and fuck that game, dude. Like, I think the problem with that game for me too is like I started playing through it, and it's like you're like replaying memories of the first game, and it's just retreading a lot of ground, so it just doesn't feel like you're getting a whole lot of story out of it. Like there's interesting story segments in between the worlds that you go to, but they're really short, you know. And it's like what I did is I just watched the cutscenes on YouTube, and that's all I needed out of the game, you know. It's like that's kind of how I felt. So yeah, so I mean, hey man, play what you got to play. I don't think I can
yeah,
fit
I
Kingdom
don't think I'm
Hearts
gonna
in right
do.
now.
I don't think I'm gonna do the whole thing. I think I'm just gonna skip straight to Kingdom Hearts 2, and because with Kingdom Hearts 2, I didn't do a super deep dive into that as far as like
Hmm.
the game. Like I did with the Kingdom Hearts 3. Like I beat all the battles in Kingdom Hearts 3. I did not do that in Kingdom Hearts 2 because they
Yeah,
have data battles
yeah.
um at certain points of the final remix version. So I didn't do that,
Hmm.
and I didn't play it on like critical mode. So I think I'm gonna
Mm,
do that, even though I know Kingdom Hearts 2 is a bitch on critical mode.
yeah.
I'm gonna try that. So that would be my next venture after I play Tales of Arise.
Well,
Um,
yeah. For me, next time I play the Kingdom Hearts games, I'm actually gonna go for the plat on all of them too on PlayStation. So
wow,
that's the other
don't you got to
reason.
beat Sephiroth to get the plat?
That's not that hard. Kingdom Hearts 2, he's easy on Kingdom Hearts 2. I beat
And
him.
one though, he's
One,
fucking
he's a
insane.
bitch, but I've beaten him on Kingdom Hearts 1 as well. The problem is
Okay.
that I think you have to play on critical, and you have to, I think you had to beat the game twice because you don't have critical at the, like, critical's not unlocked at the get go, so you have to beat the game and you have to play it again. And the first time I played through them all again, like a couple years ago, I didn't have it in me to play them all twice. You know, it's like fuck that shit. So next time I play through them, I think I'm gonna do them all on critical mode and try to get the platinums, and that's gonna be a pretty humongous undertaking, given how many games there are.
Yeah,
So
I'll just say one last thing about the trailer too. When Sora was released, I love all his move sets. I think they did a very good job on his move sets for Smash. And I think it's going to be really cool that a lot of people who didn't experience Kingdom Hearts now get the chance to experience it. Another good thing from this, right, was they put all the Kingdom Hearts games on the Switch. So yeah, you can play Sora now, and then
yeah.
you can go play his games if you've never played Kingdom Hearts, which I think is really cool.
Okay, but
Um,
isn't it lame that they're cloud only?
no, they're all the The only one that's cloud only is 3, I believe.
Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure all of them are cloud only. But
Uh,
let's see. Kingdom Hearts games on Switch cloud only. Yeah, this is from Nintendo Life. 3 Kingdom Hearts games are coming to Switch, but they're all cloud versions.
oh, really?
Yep.
That's weird.
Which makes no sense because the old games should easily be playable natively on the console, in my opinion. So I don't know. Is Square just getting lazy there? Who knows? But Sora's in Smash Bros. That is super exciting. He's coming out on the 18th, I think, of October, and I will say there was a lot of funny stuff going around too about the little details that were omitted because of Disney. Um, and did you notice on the background of his stage where the like inner
Yeah, I sent you
soul
the
part
picture.
where they were comparing it to the actual games where it has like Donald and Goofy in the picture, and in Smash it's gonna have like the fucking fruits from the island in the first game instead
Yeah.
of Donald and Goofy.
So
It's really funny shit.
that I think that kind of solidifies the ownership of Kingdom Hearts. I know they had to
Yeah.
ask, but I think it's still half and half. A lot of people are saying like, well, everything's owned by Disney. I think it's still half and half. I think the characters that Square made for the game, it's like a half ownership. All the Disney characters, of course, are owned by Disney, but I think it's still like they own half that game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of talk about that too, and I don't think we definitively know. There is some evidence though that suggests that Disney owns all of it because in the trailers for Smash, Disney is listed as the copyright owner for Kingdom Hearts. Square is not mentioned at all. So,
Mm.
which is an interesting wrinkle, which would indicate that Disney owns the whole thing, and they didn't care about the Kingdom Hearts characters being in Smash. But for some reason, this is what I don't understand about Disney, though. I don't get why. Because one of our friends was like asking why this was a big deal. Like, okay, they let Disney let them use the character. It's like he doesn't like understand how fucking like draconian Disney is with like letting people use their shit. Because the fact that they couldn't put Donald and Goofy's pictures in fucking Smash Brothers is like, what? Is like Smash Brothers beneath you, Disney? Like, is it beneath you to be in a Nintendo game, to have your fucking characters in a Nintendo game? Like, you'd rather them be in these shitty video games that are fucking awful, that like are standalone games that you've released over the last 30 years. Like, I don't understand the weirdness there. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But it is what it is. you know. Well, that's exciting. Soren Smash. I will definitely be getting him. And we will hopefully play some Smash Bros. Once he is out. Also, you saw, I'm sure we all saw the Stranger of Paradise had a new demo, got a release date, which I think we talked about last week or the week before. But the demo came out in the past week, and holy shit, dude, the clips. So I want to say a few things about everything that happened with this game, like all the videos that I saw. So I want to talk about the gameplay first. The gameplay for the game looks really good, which is what I would expect from a Team Ninja game. I'm excited about it from that perspective. The rest of it, though, dude, is pretty fucking weird. So there's elements to it, like there was the clip going around where you beat Chaos and like the you like start, I think, where the first demo ended, where you fight Chaos, and
Yeah.
turns out the version of Chaos you're fighting is some fucking little like is like a woman, like a small woman who was in the armor, and for some reason was Chaos. Who knows why? And then she tells the main character Jack that Chaos doesn't exist, and he just goes bullshit, whips out a fucking smartphone, hits a button, and it starts playing music. What was it playing? Was it like Limp
Like,
Bizkit or something?
yeah, yep. That's exactly
Dude,
what it was.
and he just walks away, and then they fade to black, and then they fade back in, and they're all four of them. He's walking, the music's still playing, and the other three characters are behind him, and it's like they just followed him out of the tower while he's playing music out of his phone, and then he pauses the music and starts talking. Like it was the weirdest. It's the weirdest sequence I can imagine I've probably ever seen in a game. It's just so fucking weird. Like, is this dude like a transplant from our world for some reason? Like, because why does he have a cell phone? This is Final
They
Fantasy
say
One.
he's they say he's from the Final Fantasy 13 world.
Okay, that's
So
fucking
there's
weird.
there's some kind of tie-in with Final Fantasy 13 in this game
Hmm.
and Final Fantasy 1. I don't know what it is, but I know he's from like that time area and or whatever.
Which would make
So
sense because the area in the demo actually plays music from one of the Final Fantasy 13 zones.
okay. Yeah,
Sunlit
so
Waterscape, I think is what it's called.
okay. Yeah, so that's the rumor going around. We don't exactly know the story. But yeah, that was pretty weird. I mean, people were making memes of it,
I
which
mean,
is
it's
funny
funny.
because
It's funny as hell. Like it
yeah,
was super funny, but yeah,
I read an article though at Team Ninja was like we didn't want the game to be memed. Like they're like we
they're
they don't
playing it
even
serious.
yeah, they don't even like they're not mad at it being meme, but they're like, yo, we didn't want the game to be like meme. Like it's good, it's publicity, yeah, but
Yeah.
we weren't trying. And so what's funny is they said they when they made this demo, they specifically tried to make stuff not memeable. And I'm like, so
What?
y'all didn't think that
Oh.
him whipping out his phone like it's fucking 2008 and playing because I don't know if they did this in your school, Justin, but in my school, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like back in like '07 or
Mm-hmm.
'06 or whatever. And this
Mm-hmm.
is going to show my age, and a lot of our listeners probably are younger, or probably got a couple old ones. But you remember the Nextel walkie-talkie chirp phones?
Oh. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right, so there was a button on there where you can actually just play your ringtone, and a lot
Yeah.
of people in my school had like whole songs in their ringtones.
Oh yeah, dude.
So people used to walk down the hallway because they thought it was cool and like playing Lil Wayne or something like that, right? So they would do that, and that's where it instantly took me back to. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, is this 2006?
Yeah,
What is this? What is this
dude.
character from?
Oh man. Yeah.
It was the most like edgy shit I could think. Like it was like a teenager. That's what it reminded me of, like a teenager. Like you don't want to break up with me, Amanda. And then they're like, I just put a random name. I'm sorry, that's your wife's name. But like you want to break up with me,
Yeah.
Jennifer. And you're like, and then they start pulling out and they play like fucking, I don't know, Linkin Park to
Fucking
express
Linkin
their
Park, yeah,
feeling.
or some shit. Yeah, dude. Like what? Some people were saying he had earbuds on, and that somehow is supposed to
No,
make
he
it
did
better.
not fucking have earbuds
Well,
on,
I think
bro.
about it. Even if he did have earbuds, what's everybody sitting there thinking? Like they're like all the other three characters are like, okay, he just pulled out his phone, he hit a button, and all of a sudden there's something blasting out of his ears, like sound blasting out of his ears, and they just follow him, and like they don't say anything the whole time. Nobody thinks that's weird. And then if he doesn't have earbuds, it's even weirder because they walk down the entire tower with him blasting the same song on repeat and don't say a word. Like I'm sorry, Team Ninja. I love you guys, but you cannot have really thought this wasn't going to be memed. Like, 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 think it through how ridiculous the whole scene is. It's insane. Like, the guy's a complete. All he says is bullshit. He just, which I mean, I like the deadpan nature of it, but this game's gonna get memed to oblivion. I'm like people are excited about it, like ironically, and I'm worried that the game's not gonna be taken seriously as a result of that because I genuinely think the gameplay looks really good.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's 100% good. I think that
um
the problem is Team
yeah
Ninja is trying to emulate a style that's not their style.
yeah
They're trying to
right
emulate Final Fantasy style
yep
of like storytelling, and
yep
it's not translating
yep they're
well.
doing they're doing Final Fantasy X proud.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, I don't want to sound like racist or whatever, but like Japanese games always had this issue where they're very campy and they don't
Yeah.
intentionally mean to be campy. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's because of the voice acting, like the dub voice acting makes it campy, or it's because like there are legitimately campy parts of the game.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Well, they gotta learn. They gotta learn this. I think Square has finally broken out of this phase. Final Fantasy VII Remake comes to mind, where they actually feel like they're breaking into like sort of Western cinematic styles of storytelling. Because most Japanese games, and this is something that some gamers who haven't played Japanese games, and then they finally do, or they see them and they're like, "How do you guys play these games?" It's like because this game does this is like that scene where he blasts the music and they get to the bottom of the tower and he's like, oh, chaos is here, I feel him or whatever. And but before that, you know how like this always happens, like Tales does this, all these JRPGs do this, Final Fantasy does this, Kingdom Hearts fucking does this, where the characters are just walking in the in-game engine, like they're just walking, and it's like it's so stiff looking because they're like walking straight and then they stop and then he turns around, but it takes like 15 seconds for all that to happen, and nothing else is happening. There's no movement, there's no like background ambiance. Like from like a shot perspective, it's an awful shot, like
Well,
it looks, the
they do that
presentation's
same
really
thing in
bad,
they do that same thing in anime.
yeah.
Like they would like the group is walking or whatever, and then
Everybody's
they'll be
got to get to
like,
their little pre-assigned spot before the scene can play out, it's
yeah,
like,
and
yeah.
then like I would say like for this is like a classic trope in anime where like say like something just happened, dramatic just happened, and the team is walking away.
Hmm.
Then one character would just stop. And while the other team is walking forward, they'll look down. They have a little black shadow over their eyes, and they'll be looking down. And they'll be like, and like, "What's wrong, Asuka? Are you okay?" And they're like, "I can't believe that happened." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god!" And even in Japanese, it's like the same. You're like, "Ugh, I can't believe I'm watching this." And
Yeah.
I think, but
Yeah.
it kind of translates better in Japanese than
It
it
does.
is
The
in
sub This is
English.
why I watch subs generally more than dubs, because um subs at the very least it feels more natural to the way they
Yeah,
present the dialogue, I guess, in
yeah,
Japanese. In
yeah.
English it comes off as cringe most of the time. It just sounds awful. It
Yeah, it
does. It
does.
just it just doesn't present well. That's why this is like, I bet if I listen to the Japanese track of this scene, like it probably would play a little bit
I,
better. It wouldn't be that
I,
much better.
I,
But
I just don't see the cell phone scene
I
going over
know,
well.
I
Japanese.
know. Limp Biscuit, like what? Like, like what were they
I see.
thinking?
This is the problem, right? I think the issue is the experienced developers are
Mm,
our age and they still live in that era, like when we
yeah.
used to do shit like that,
Hmm.
right? And like nowadays, real people don't do that shit. And it's like, so younger people are looking like, what the fuck? And then me and you instantly went back to like 2007. Like, we're like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
Yeah.
like this is the shit that we used to do.
Oh yeah, I
So, I
remember.
mean,
I remember not even the phone thing, just like having headphones on, like really obnoxious headphones, and you're like fucking blasting them, bro. Like you are max volume. Everyone in the hallway can hear your shit, and it's like you're just walking down the hall, ignoring everybody. Like tons of people did that shit. Like
yeah,
that's just what we did.
yep. And we thought we were so fucking cool.
Yes,
And
we
it's
did.
like,
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did.
and I think that's what it reminds me of. And it's just like, I don't know. On the one hand, I appreciate it. On the other hand, it really showed the age of the developers. And it's like, yeah, we need to get younger developers in there, but like they're not as experienced. So it's like a give or take, right? So you got to deal with some of that
Mhm.
bullshit. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think uh they should just lean into it.
I
But
think so too. Like embrace
yeah,
the camp and just embrace it.
yeah,
Like get really weird. Like let this game just be memed, and embrace that fact, because it could be glorious if they do. I really hope they do that, and that the game ends up being in on the joke, because that'll be better for everybody, because we can all just enjoy it together. Rather than the game being made fun of and nobody taking it seriously. So we'll see.
and you know what? Come and think about it with this team. This is like one of their first games that were memed. I can't really think of any of their other games that were like heavily memed. Like I didn't see any memes of Neo. I didn't see any memes of Neo 2. I didn't see any memes of like of
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
like,
bro. What they should do is they got to round up all these people on Twitter that like are making fun of the game and memeing the game, and they need to kidnap all of them put them
Oh
in like
God.
a prison complex and force them to beat Ninja Gaiden to get out.
Oh, I mean, I
The
made the game, so I can do that. That's
No,
easy.
I mean you're fine. I'm talking about all these like precious people, like actually like really making fun of the game super hard. They probably they probably don't know what a hard game actually is.
Yeah.
So make them play Ninja Gaiden or even Neo. Fuck it. I bet they couldn't beat Neo either. So yeah, it sounds like a fun version of Squid Game. That's the new like Death Game show or whatever. Have you
Yeah, I
you
watched
watched it
2
yet?
episodes of it, and I watched 2 episodes of it. Maybe it gets better the 3rd episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad, but it's like when I watch it, I'm like, why is everyone flipping out about this show?
I'm gonna watch it next week. I'm off next week, so I think I'm gonna watch it and see. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm house sitting, so I'm like with the cats, and like we're just watching it. I'm like,
mm,
it's okay, like it's okay.
mm,
Um, I do recommend watching it subbed. The dub
is
sounds
it
like an
bad?
anime. It sounds like
Oh
an anime.
God, like a bad
Yeah.
anime. Oh no.
Yeah, it's not a bad anime, but it sounds like an anime. It sounds like I'm watching Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
If that makes any
Ooh.
sense.
Mm,
Yeah. So
yeah, Cowboy Bebop is definitely better subbed.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's debatable,
I
but mm,
mean,
let's move from that.
I
Let's
don't
move on from that.
remember. I haven't watched that show in a long time, dude. I think I've watched both though. I think I've watched both versions, so it's good. It's good either way.
Yeah,
Let's
it
be
is. It
clear. Let's
is.
be clear about that. But yeah. Okay, and then Battlefield 2042 also had a beta this past week, and whoo boy,
So
they are getting
unfortunately,
shredded, Montreal.
yeah, unfortunately, I don't have anything too bad to say about it because I've
Yeah.
actually been in the dark about it because I'm about to play the beta this weekend and I want my
Okay.
own opinions.
Okay.
I know people who had the EA access, they got to play it today, right? Or yesterday.
Yesterday. Yep.
Yeah, so and then it's an open beta on the weekend, and I'm gonna play on this weekend.
Are you
Um,
worried?
I am worried. I am worried. From what I've heard so far, there's this little glitch where you randomly look up at the sky.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that one. Yeah, dude, I saw that one. The other
so
thing was like the giant twister in the level they showed in the trailer. It's cool looking, but I saw a clip of somebody getting like whipped up into the air and they got like thrown, you know, like a million miles away from it and they were like flying through the air and just like plummeting towards the ground and then they just landed and didn't take any damage. I was like,
they re-
that's not right.
they remove fall damage. I mean, I know
I'm
everyone
I'm
has,
wondering because that's the clip I saw, and I'm like, the dude fell from like 1,000 feet, and he
unless he
did
had
not.
his parachute. He didn't even parachute.
He didn't. No, no, no. This was a straight fall. He didn't parachute. He just fell, and I was like,
Okay.
so maybe it was just a bug in that clip or something, or maybe I was misinterpreting it or something, but that's what it looked like, and I'm like, that can't be right because that would completely nullify the point of the damn thing. It would turn into a transportation vehicle for players if it didn't do damage to you, you know. So I hope that's not the case, and that was just a bug. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't know. I'm part of me's kind of hoping they delay the game again and just push it to like March or something and really get this shit fixed up. But I'm looking forward to your impressions of it.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been on the dark on it. So and that was on purpose. I didn't want to see anything. I didn't want to get influenced by it because I've been looking forward to this game. So yeah, I
Well, one other
apologize
beta
about
that
that.
happened was the Halo Infinite multiplayer. Did you actually play that one?
I did. I didn't give my opinion on it because I feel like my opinion will be really, really biased. I still have the Xbox One, and it played like shit on the Xbox One. So I was like, I'm gonna avoid giving my opinion on it. Um, yeah, because it was just really weird, and they didn't have the same control schemes that they normally have. I normally play
Mm-hmm.
with the boxer control schemes, and you can customize your control schemes, but the game just felt really weird. Like even the aim assist on the game felt like it was non-existent actually. So I
Yep.
don't know if that was because I was on the Xbox One. It's just really like, and it plays at 30 frames on the Xbox One, which is like I guess standard for Halo for when you're playing the older Halo games. But if you come from the Master Chief Collection, all those games have been upscaled and played to 60 frames per second. So going back to 30 frames was like really jarring for me. So I refrain for giving my opinion on it because I think the Xbox One version is fucking shit. Don't play it on Xbox One. It's ass. If you
Yeah.
can play it on PC, which I didn't get a PC code. I did get a beta code, and my next beta code is on PC, so I may do that. But if you guys have an Xbox One, don't do it. Play it on. I think the Series S runs at 60 frames, and I think the Series X obviously that runs at 60 frames, and it runs better. But yeah, don't play it on Xbox One at all.
Fair enough. All right, Montrell. Let's get into the show proper. 30 minutes in. So, for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And if you'd like to send us a question, which we have one this week, please send those to theplayerstake01@gmail.com or at theplayerstake on Twitter. So let's get started, Montreal, like we always do with what we've been playing. I only see one game on your list. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
I've only been playing that game in Apex.
All right. I'll go through mine real quick.
But yeah.
Do you want to say something about Apex?
No, it's nothing but bullshit.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're just angry at the game all the time. I don't know why we play it. It's the same thing with like League. I don't know. I don't know why we play multiplayer games. We all just hate ourselves afterwards. Yeah, so I've been playing Apex, whatever. Diablo 2, I kind of said my piece about that last week, so not much more to say about it. And then I started playing Gloomhaven Digital because they announced the campaign, the board game campaign is they are releasing that aspect to this digital game on October 20th. So I started checking this out just preliminarily to kind of see how it plays, and it is a very, very faithful recreation of the board game. It is almost 1-to-1 for the most part in terms of mechanics and everything and looks and all that.
Okay.
What I will say, it has its own little campaign though that they built into it to kind of build the game mechanics into the game over time during early access, and it feels like it's going to be a forgotten mode once the real campaign comes out, the actual Gloomhaven campaign comes out, because I've played a little bit of it, a few hours, and what I will say is the map design is really basic so far. Maybe it gets better down the road, like further in, but at the beginning, I really feel like they didn't even try. They just like throw a bunch of enemies into rooms and that's it. There's like no real thought to it. They're just all just bunched on top of each other and shit. So I like it. I'm looking forward to the actual Gloomhaven campaign drop though, because that will be a great way to experience the board game without having to buy the board game and play it by yourself or with a group of friends. So something that I'm gonna do probably with Jed and maybe a couple other of us if people are interested. So looking forward to that. And then Tails. So Montrell, where are you in Tails? How far have you gotten? Are you done?
No, I'm on the final battle. I have to do the final battle, but I'm farming right now to like kind of catch up. So I'm like level 49 or 46 ish, and
Really?
the boss,
Okay.
the characters I'm fighting or the enemies I'm fighting are like level 53 and up now. So
Okay.
I'm farming because I'm assuming the bosses are going to be like level 55 to level 60 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just farming right now to get more powerful and stuff like that. But it did take an interesting turn. I'm kind of disappointed at the turn it took. But you will see it coming from like a mile away.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from the story or the characters. I think they actually dealt with it the same way I would deal with something like that. And they actually thought about how like further this information will be to other people once they tell the other people what's going on, like how they take that. And they're like, man, should we even tell them? And they were going through all the scenarios, and I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I would think of if something like that, if this was like, a real life situation. So I thought that was really interesting. Uh when you talk to all the characters, because they do that again. So I don't know. I think it's really cool. Yeah,
Is it
I
still
don't know.
up there for you? Like, is it up there with like Vesperia or?
I think that knocked it down as far as storytelling wise. That knocked it down for me because
Mhm.
it was very expected.
Mhm.
Like and I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't think they could have went any other way with it because it was just like once you get to you're like, I mean, that's obviously spoiler alert. I mean, everyone knows you're gonna get there anyway. But like, like once you get there
Man,
or
man, you just
whatever,
lost us our 15 listeners, man.
I'm
God
sorry,
damn it.
guys. Once you get there, though, it could have go either way. I'm not going to say what happens or anything like that, but it could go either way. And there was really no. They kind of written themselves into a hole when the direction they went. So I don't really blame them. I just blame like this is the way the story was written, And
Yeah.
they still written the characters and the scenarios and how they handled it. I think this game focused on character writing more than the story, and they focus more on how the characters react than more so
Yeah.
uh a
Yeah.
very super compelling story, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, so I'm in the fourth region. I don't know how far into the fourth region I am. I just met the Lord for the region. And she ran away. So I think I think I'm pretty close to the end of that region, to be honest. But I'm so okay. I was high on the game last week and the week before. The more I'm playing it, my opinion is certainly getting a little bit more. I'm losing a little bit of the rainbow feelings about it,
You
and
are at the point of the game where I was at, and I felt the same way. But keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
okay,
cut you off.
okay. Does it get better? Does it like turn around
This
again at some point?
this part of the game, in my opinion, is the slowest part of the game.
Okay, it's not about the slowness of the game. Well, okay, that's one of the things I wrote down. So the way they pace this story in this game is it's really weird. It feels really fast paced, but in a bad way because things are happening really quickly. Like you're going from area to area, and then like an event happens when you get to the area, and then you leave and you go to the next area. You get like a new destination. You go there, and then an event happens, and so on and so forth. That's like the way the game is structured. But these events are happening too fast with not enough in the middle to like break it up. There's really no slowdown moment for the most part, or at least there hasn't been so far. You're kind of just rushing from region to region and blasting through it really fast. And in real world time, it really only takes like it feels like 3, 4, maybe 5 hours to get through most of these areas too. These regions, like they're really short on their own, so there's just not enough. There's not enough story like there for the arc within a region to feel coherent, and they kind of feel rushed, I guess, in that regard. To me, they don't feel great as a whole. The story's presented fine so far. Like I don't have a problem with it, but within each region I'm getting a little kind of annoyed because I just don't feel like I'm getting enough out of it. Like I get like, okay, we're gonna go into spoilers here because I want to talk about a specific like plot point that happens in the fourth region that kind of started to make me think about this more and got me into this headspace with this game. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, like actual real spoilers for the game, skip ahead. um, so you remember the part where obviously you learn about the hollowing thing in the third region, and then in the fourth region the Lord is like on the run and she gets captured and they're about to execute her, and then everybody just like dissolves into hollowing water, or whatever,
Hmm.
like in the
Yeah.
like right before they're about to execute her, or actually when they do execute her. That happens literally like with game in actual like real world time, an hour and a half after, or 2 hours maybe after you get to the region. you know? And if you really want to rush it, you could probably do it in an hour, you know, like if you're not like fully exploring. It's just like it doesn't feel like the progression of the story is happening right. Because you get to the region, nobody's there, and then they do this awkward thing that fucking JRPGs do sometimes, where like the city you get to is abandoned and nobody's there, and then all of a sudden you meet the leader of the resistance that like overthrew the government, and then the fucking whole city's populated all of a sudden again. It's like, okay, where the fuck was everybody hiding? They were just waiting for you to get to the fucking checkpoint before anybody like came out and be like, oh, who's this? You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's super awkward. But then you meet the fucking leader of the resistance, and he's an asshole, whatever. And you leave, and you end up going trying to do your own thing without their help, you know. But then you go do your own thing, you don't find the Lord, so you go back to the city, and then they captured the Lord, and they're gonna execute her, and that's the story progression. There's like nothing. It's just like it feels like you go from point A to point like D. You know, like you're skipping like B and C. Like there's some other things I feel like that should be happening there to like make the story feel coherent, and they don't. You just go from you meet the leader, you get bad intel, you go to a place, she's not there, you come back, they captured her, they're about to kill her, and then you go to the event where they're executing her, and then everybody dissolves. And it's like that's like the you like get no time to learn about anything they did really. You barely get any screen time with the resistance leader. He just dies like outright. And then the first time you meet the Lord for this region is in this scene. So she's initially presented as somebody who like is like who gave herself up and is a weakling, and then she's like the evil mastermind that fucking is like, you know, like I fucking killed everybody, you know. It's like twirling mustache villain shit. And it just like I don't know, like all that put together is it's like it made me think about the other regions, and they're better than this, but this is definitely the worst region so far in terms of story presentation, because or story progression, because it doesn't feel like there was enough, you know, to justify the plot points that were happening, you know. It just goes from like 0 to 100 really fast, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Maybe my experience was a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everything as far as the plot point and everything of that nature because I kind of did exploring and I did some farming around that time.
I did
I did a
too.
lot
I
of
did
I
too.
did okay. I did a
I
lot
did
of
too.
little shit that
Yeah.
took me like maybe a 2 extra hour, extra like 2 or 3 hours to get through this area.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a lot of little shit, like unnecessary shit. Um, so but yeah, once you break it down, this whole area. So I'll be honest with you, man. From this point on, all the way to the end,
Yeah.
when you finish the fifth region, feels like filler.
Really.
Yeah, I did not like the fifth region. It explains a lot of shit that's going on. I think that Lord is super. Well, you know, I don't want to tarnish your thing when you get
Mm-hmm.
to it because you have a certain expectation. I don't want to tarnish that. I want you to go in fresh. So I'm not going to say anything about the fifth Lord. The fourth Lord, I think all games do this, all stories do this. Unfortunately, sometimes where it's really bad storytelling. That Lord is simply there to serve the development of Rinwell. That's it.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. So that's the other portion of this whole section that I want to get to is that Rinwell. Well, I kind of want to talk about the characters as a whole. So I'm at the point where I don't really like anyone in the party outside of maybe pretty much just Alphen. He's like the only character I actually really like. I like Law as a whole, but he's got the same problem that everybody else has, is that these characters are surprisingly one-dimensional. Like they have almost I feel like they have very little depth to them as people, like within a world, you know. Alphen is a very well developed character where he confronts all these issues, and he's a part of almost every conversation that happens in the game. So he's like naturally very multi-layered and nuanced, you know. But everybody else, like I feel like, and Xion is like halfway there. She's developed, and I think she's going to be more developed by the end of the game. I'm already starting to see the cracks showing in her like cold exterior, so she's starting to like kind of come around to the party and everything, which is good finally. But like Law is super one dimensional. He's just like kind of goes. That's his thing. He doesn't think too hard. He just wants to punch shit. He's got a sense of righteousness instilled from his dad, and that's like his character. And he has a moment here with Rinwell that at first I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like he like protects the Lord and like blocks Rinwell's attack, and it was like it presented really stupid in the moment because it felt like he was like defending the Lord from Rinwell because he didn't want her to kill. He didn't want Rinwell to kill the Lord because she was so full of hatred in that moment, the same way the people that were about to burn her at the stake were when they disappeared. He didn't want her to be enveloped in that, and he didn't want her to descend because he did it in the second region with Ganabel, right? He knows the end result of that revengeance. It's just it doesn't feel as good as you think it's going to feel.
Mm.
So I like that in retrospect. In the moment, it looks really stupid though because he's like defending the Lord who they're trying to kill, and then they turn around and they bait like they're gonna fight her. It's like it's like it presents really weird in the moment. You got to think about it for it to make sense, and it was a yeah. So it was a strange moment. What I liked though is Rinwell finally had like actual. It feels like real development happened in this region, and after 3 regions with her, it's like about fucking time because all she does is talk about how much she fucking hates every Renan, and she starts like she makes these giant wild generalizations, and she's the character, and there's so many scenes where other characters are talking, whether it's the skits or actual story cutscenes where other people are talking, she's super silent, and then at the very end of the scene she's just like looking at all of them like like really worried for some reason, or like crumpling her brow, like in thought. It's like it's just like too much of that. It's like they weren't giving us any character development of this character, and then finally it happens here, and she's like, I don't know what to do if I don't hate this woman, and she's actually like confronting her feelings finally, and Shion actually is the one who really like pushes her over the edge, which was a cool interaction because she fucking hates Shion. But so it's like I think the game, I don't know, maybe it gets better, but like Kisara and Dohalim are their own problems for me. Where Dohalim, when you meet him when he's a lord, presents as this like hyper competent individual who's like got it all figured out, and then by the end of that region, he's completely broken down into a mess, and he has no idea why he's doing anything he's doing, and like he's a complete fucking fraud. And then he joins the party, and he's presented as this like helpless fucking child who can't even clothe himself. Like, it's like I hate the way they integrated him into the party because he's just a trope. He's just like a walking trope. He's like the rich guy that doesn't know how to do anything. He was waited on with hand and foot forever. And it's like I don't like I don't know why they felt the need to do that, because when he was just like a lord in Elde Menancia, like he seemed way more together, like he like Shion tried to assassinate the dude in his fucking castle when he's trying to invite them to dinner, and he dodges that shit and fucks her up, like, or tries to fuck her up, and like it's like, but then like it just, I don't know, when he joins the party, he just feels like he can fight, but that's like all he can do. That's literally all he knows how to do, is somehow he knows how to fight. He's this fucking super rich dude who's like the best fucking fighter in the entire world. It's like it's anime shit, and it went too far for me. And then Kisara is like, she's just like the mom. That's her role in the group. She's just a mom. It's like, that's it. Oh, and she knows how to fish. It's like, okay. She doesn't seem to have much else there. It's like, I don't know. Maybe this changes. Maybe this all changes later in the game. But right now, that's how I feel. And I'm like, it sucks because like early on, I really liked the characters. I liked most of the characters, but like the further I get with this game, it feels like they're not doing anything with most of them. Alphen and Shion are the only ones really getting any development, it feels like, for the most part. And Rinwell's going to get her little moment here, I feel like, in Region 4, and then are they just going to leave it at that for the rest of the game? And that's it. That would be my guess is what's going to happen. So I don't know.
I okay. I disagree with you.
Okay.
Actually, on a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I feel like
Go for it.
what you feel like is one dimensional is their personality.
Yeah.
That's their personality as a person. I feel like
Yeah.
Law. He should be a little bit more broken down
Hmm.
compared to what he is, but he is this macho dude. Like he's a
Like,
teenager,
bro,
and he's like,
I put sunglasses on him. That's his personality. It
yeah,
fits in
like
perfectly.
he's a dude, bro. He's a dude,
Yeah,
bro.
he is. Yeah, he is.
And
He's
I think
yeah,
that's his personality.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I feel like it serves it well for like who he is as a person. Like
I
that's
mean,
his character. And I
yeah.
wasn't really expecting him to be
Hmm.
I know what you mean, like by like they're one dimensional, but I wasn't really expecting them to be like they have their moments. You know, they have their moments, and when they were like doing the campfire stuff and all that shit like that. And I mean, that's the shit I was talking about as far as like character development and everything like that, because
Hmm.
like their personalities bounce off each other, and they have their moments in during the small cut scenes and everything of that nature. They have their
Yeah.
moments. So I don't know. I feel like for one dimensional to me is like the character is just like they just have no depth to them. But I feel
Yeah.
like Law does have a bit of depth to him, especially when Alvin talks to him.
Yeah.
He has some depth to him, and then further on, you know, he talks to Renwell, and then he talks to some of the um during the like the non-voice cut scenes when they're just talking to regular villagers. You hear his personality. So I
Hmm.
that's where I think as far as that Kisara, I agree with you. Um, I
Yeah.
think she out of all of them, she lacks the most.
Yeah.
She's one dimensional. I
Yeah,
skipped
like
a lot of her
why is she
cutscene.
even there? It feels like she doesn't need to be there. Like her
Yeah,
reason for being there doesn't hold water with me, really. You know.
I skipped a lot of her cutscenes because every time she fucking talked, like I thought it was really cool. Like she's a super serious person, and then like the fishing comes up, and then she's like really playful with it or whatever. So I thought that was really cool. Like that's her
Sidebar,
bouncy.
why is the fishing music like so like epic?
The game is actually really fucking good.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
know
if you
the mini
fished.
game. Yeah, I know the
Yeah,
fishing mini game. It is. Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's genuinely fun.
Um, but I skipped a lot of her shit because I was just genuinely like, I'm tired of hearing about your brother, and I know,
That's all she talks about. Yeah,
yeah,
seriously. Yeah.
and I know it just happened, and she needs time to get over it, and we're all traumatized because we're like moving so fast, and we're trying to get shit done, so we don't have time to process shit.
Hmm.
But it was to the point I'm like, bro, if I hear about Miguel one more fucking time, bro, like I
Well,
don't fucking care about this dude, and
dude,
I don't.
this is after she hadn't seen him for fucking years and like hated his guts too. By the way,
Yeah, yeah.
like it's
So
super weird how much it flips on its head. You know, like
yeah,
yeah,
and it's not like the conversation she's having, like, oh, I wish I could have had more time with him. It's like, oh, I miss him. He's just,
right. He
you
was
know,
so
and it's
great
like
or
he was so
whatever. Yeah,
great, yeah. And it's like, bro, you just told me you hated him like a couple
yeah,
hours ago.
right.
So I agree with you on that. Kisara, 100% agree with you on Dolomin. I expected that from him. Like, I think it's a realistic expectation for him
Hmm.
to like not know how to do shit. I mean, yeah, like we all know nobles know how to fight, and if you like, if like especially the Renans, they know how to fight. So I
Yeah.
understood why he's really good at combat and everything.
It's just an annoying trope, I guess. You know,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I just
Yeah.
expected it. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
I was expecting it, but I feel like he bounces really well with everyone else, surprisingly, except for
Yeah.
Windworld,
Hmm.
which is kind of
Well,
expected.
yeah, she yeah.
Um, but Windworld, I like her. I it was at certain points to where like yeah, she's like super like I hate fucking, you know, Renans or whatever. But then it's like it's certain points throughout the game where she's just like everyone's like calling her on her shit. And she's like, damn, man, like you're kind of right. Like I can't be doing shit like this, or I can't like
Mhm.
damn, they are right about it. And I like that the fact that she was actually confronting that in my playthroughs. I don't know, like that's just how I viewed it. I
Well, are
feel
you
like
talking about post Region 4? Because up to the point I'm at, I feel like
no,
there's very
I
little.
think
I
I
feel like
think
there's very little of that.
see I feel
She
I
was
feel
a
like
very quiet character in Region 3.
Man, I feel
And
like she was talking a lot. Like
I
she
don't,
was talking a
man.
lot for me.
I mean,
And
I mean, in cutscenes, yeah, like the skits, sure, but like the actual story, not so much.
oh yeah, like the actual story, I don't think she was saying that much, but like the skits and stuff like that. Like that's what I'm talking
Which I
about.
mean, the
Like
skits are good. They are.
yeah,
Um,
and they always, I mean, not all the time, but they always stay on point
yeah.
with what's currently happening in the story, and you get the characters like background. So
Hmm.
that's how I feel like when I'm talking about the character development. I feel like the skits do that.
Hmm.
It was like Kisara's skits though. Every fucking cutscene was about her fucking brother, and I just didn't
Yeah.
fucking care. Whereas with
Yeah.
Renwell, it was
Yeah.
different shit I was learning about her, and she was interacting with other characters and all this shit like that. And it does get a lot better, especially after Region 5. It gets a lot better with her. Um, but I feel like this was the reason I like this point of the game is because she kind of breaks that mode and she struggles with it afterwards.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this whole block felt like filler. I agree with you. Like the whole blocking the lords or Rinwell trying to kill the Lord, and then Law's like, "No, you can't do it." It was so fucking pointless. Because I'm like, we're about to fight her anyway. So like, I don't
Right.
understand. Like, Shion needs to kill her. So
Right.
Shion's gonna have to
Right.
do what Shion's
Literally.
gonna do. Yeah. So
Like it has to happen to get the master
yeah,
core. Like I don't know why you're protecting the bitch. Like I don't, yeah.
yeah,
And then she summons a fucking dinosaur out of the sky that has like 200k HP and you fucking fight it like, right after that. So,
yeah. So
um
I,
yeah.
I feel like it was really stupid. I, I just feel like that whole cuts or that whole arc. These next two arcs are like fucking filler arcs, and I don't like that it's filler arcs because it really wastes your time. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I feel like post uh Lord 5, it's just a whole fucking filler arc. It's like a Naruto filler arc. You're like doing side shit. And maybe because I was doing side shit, it did feel like a filler arc for me.
Mhm.
But even still, like it was just random shit happening throughout the story, like the main story. That I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like the back half of the game is definitely not as strong as the first half of the game, in my
That
opinion.
sucks, man. That's
Yeah,
unfortunate because yeah, the front part of the game, I'd say the first two regions in particular are really strong. The game starts out great to me, and then you get to region 3, and I think region 3 is still good. Like I think it's still a really fun region for the most part, especially that it turns everything on its head. You go from like these really oppressed regions to one that's relatively at peace and free. Even though it's a facade for the most part. But that's what like kind of my thing about like is Alphen's always the one I feel like making the real like actually making the real points because there's a skit with him and Dohalim, I think, or maybe it was Kisara, I don't remember, one of them. And they're talking about Menencia again, and and he literally says to whoever he's talking to, he's like, why do you guys always talk about Menencia like it's some giant fucking failure? Like because they do, like they literally do every time they reference it. They're like it's some horrible failure, and it's like no, like it didn't burn to the ground, like we didn't blow the region up, like nobody really died, like everything is okay. The people are still free and they accepted freedom and they want to be free, and the Renans that are there want to be a part of that coexistence, like so you're not there and you failed maybe, but like the actual realm is not a failure, and it's like and it took Alphen saying that for them to like even confront the topic. And that like because it's like it's the same thing about Kisara always talking about Miguel. The two of them, when they talk about Menencia, it's always in the negative context, like every single time, like hammering it home. So I just think that I think there's a little bit too much, like there might be too much dialogue in this game that isn't like that feels like filler, like you were saying with the plot. What happens with the plot maybe is like some of these skits, like there might be too many skits because most of them are fully voiced. There's like over 300, and like that could be great, but when you're rehashing the same points over and over and over again between some of these conversations, like it gets a little rote at a certain point. Two other things I want to mention before we move on is experience gain in the game. I want to point this out because this is a little bit of a controversy with this game. Is that you can buy EXP boosters for real money, and you can also buy gold with real money. And I don't feel as bad about gold, even though I think most people do, in context to this discussion. But EXP in the first 3 regions feels extremely limited. Your ability to grind and actually level up, out level the region is almost non-existent, because, like I said last week, when you out level the enemies you're fighting, the amount of experience you get goes down significantly. But the enemies themselves give very low experience in the first 3 regions. And then all of a sudden, I hit region 4 the other day, and the amount of experience I was gaining per fight like fucking exploded. Like I was getting maybe 100 to 150 per fight in the end of region 3. And then you get to region 4 and suddenly I'm getting 500 to like 750. You know, it's just like it like quintuples. Like just going through a loading screen. It was fucking weird, dude. Because I started gaining levels every couple fights. It felt like I was getting levels like crazy fast, whereas earlier on it was taking like the fucking entire region for me to gain a few levels. You know, it's like I gained like I think like 9 levels in a few hours. You know, at the beginning of region 4, I'm like level 28 now, I think, and I think I started the region at like 22 or 21. You know, and that felt like a real breakpoint moment where they're like, okay, anybody who bought the EXP boost already bought it by this point. Let's increase the amount of experience you gain. You know, it felt really deliberate to me. I don't know if you feel the same way. I don't know how EXP gain continues either, like scales through the rest of the game, but I don't know. Like, how do you feel about that? Did you feel the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, I told you at one point I bought like the
Yeah.
20%
Yep.
one,
Mm-hmm.
just because of that area. It felt really weird. It was only $10, and it didn't really do anything. But it's like,
It's like a
it,
psychological thing, though. They want you to feel like it's oppressive.
yeah,
You know?
and it was
Yeah.
I just think I don't know, it's just weird. Yeah, because like later on in the game, you're getting like thousands. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking about like
Yeah.
2,000, 3,000, 4,000
Yeah.
XP. Your SP, you're getting like sometimes you're getting like 100 per fight, 200 per fight, 300 per fight.
Yeah.
So and maybe because I'm a little bit under leveled compared to where I'm at. But yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you. There are certain parts of the game too where it's like the scaling is weird. So it was
Yeah.
like this one part where I'm in like a level 20 area. They give me a quest, and the quest is like level 65. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? And you can't see the monster's level before you fight them. So when you fight them, they're level 65 and they're one shot, and you're like, bro.
Yeah. Well, there's the first big monster quest they give you in the first region where like you have to go fight a level 44, you know, rare spawn or whatever. And yeah, it's like I mean, you said you're like 46 or something. Like you're at the end of the game. So they give you a quest at the very beginning of the game that you cannot complete until you're at the end of the game. Like what? Like,
And
huh?
I think they did that to like, oh, give you something to look forward to. Because I definitely did go back and fight them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. I think there's a better way to do it.
But the
I
quest
just,
rewards are scaled for like level 5, you know?
yeah.
Which makes to no sense at all. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it is that's weird. The side quests are definitely weird because a lot of the side quests, honestly, like at least up to this point, I know there's a lot more that I haven't done yet, but up to this point, basically, I talked to the quest giver and they're like, "Hey, can you go get me these materials?" And I already have them in my inventory. You know, like I'd say like 75% of the time. You
And
know,
I love those quests because I'm like, thank God I don't got
I
to do
mean, I
this
love it
shit.
too. It's great, but it's weird. It is weird though. It's like weird quest design, you know? That's not
Yeah.
normally how you design side quests. So, um, but I mean, it's okay. The other
Yeah.
thing I want to mention is about the combat. Um, is that I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know how you've been fighting, like how you fight, like what your style is, but I noticed that auto attacks, like your normal regular combo attacks, are like almost completely fucking useless in this game. They do like 20% of the damage of your skills, like your arts do. And it's like I don't
They-
get why that is, like why the scaling's like that. Because I'm like at the point where I just spam arts. I don't even really use regular attacks, because it's just a waste. It feels like
yeah, I mean, I do that as well. Like I use my normal attacks to extend my combos, but I
pretty much that's
also
it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I also learned how to switch, fast switch between people. So I
characters.
fast switch. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do combos, and I have one enemy in the air, then I switch to another character, and then continue the combo with the character. So that's what I be doing now. But yeah, the game for me, like for Winrail, right? The
hmm
game has a really bad way of explaining what she can pocket and what she can't pocket, and it's so fucking annoying. She can't pocket certain. She can only pocket charge spells, but I don't think the game presents it like that. When you're reading like what she can
it
do,
doesn't. It
it
says you could
makes it.
pocket like anything.
Yeah, it makes you seem like you can pocket anything, but you can't.
hmm
So that's my number one gripe with it. With the game so far, like I don't know, and I feel like and I don't know if it was like just Basaria or Bisteria, but I feel like you could use you used to be able to do way more moves. Like I can do up to 12 moves now. Like I can
Yeah, you have 12 AG points or whatever they're called.
yeah, I have 12 AG points. I'm sorry about the button mapping. Like I can map up to 12. I
Oh,
can do
skills like arts. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm
skills.
at that
So
point too. So you can do 6 on the ground, 6 in the air, right?
yeah, yep.
But
Um
dude, they don't give you that till the fourth region. It's like what?
yeah. I don't know how I feel about that at all.
Yeah.
And then they used to be able to I know with Wisteria, like you used to have like left, like you can hold like your skills were on on the actual sticks. So when you're moving around, it was like you hold one and then you can hold up to 8 skills pretty much.
hmm
Um, and it just feel like you're very limited just with the button pressing on this one. But I don't know, maybe that's just a like, and then separating the skills between air and ground. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, I like that because it's like a lot easier. But I also don't like that because it's like a lot more restricting. So it's like a give or take, right? So
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
know. Maybe they can improve it next game. But yeah,
Yeah, it feels like they wanted you to go between the air and the ground a lot, and the game doesn't play that way. Like it's not super practical to do. It's easier to just use ground or air, whichever one you happen to be in.
yeah,
um, more often than not. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to sound super negative on the game. Like I do still like the game. I'm still enjoying it. I want to beat it, for sure. But this is definitely turning into a more like I'm gonna beat it once and probably forget about it kind of game. Than more of a like classic in my head. I definitely think I liked Zillia more than this game. At this point, maybe that'll change. But in terms of the combat, I think I definitely did. I don't love the Grace's style combo point or ability point system that they put into this game. I think it's okay, but it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't flow right to me because like I was saying, like I just spam arts. I just spam arts, and then when I run out of points, like if I don't have boost strikes to use, I just run around and fucking wait for it to recharge. It takes like 2 seconds. Like it's just and then you just spam more. It's like it's just there's no real reason to combo. There's no real reason to like except for like locking an enemy down. That's about the only reason to combo. But that shit doesn't even work on bosses. So it's like not even there's not even really a point to sit there and attack constantly. You should really not be doing that because you're just going to get blasted. So unless you're like swapping characters all the time, which I think that's really what they want you to do is swap characters. Um, but it's like they don't even tell you how to do that really in the game. I didn't even know you could do that until I was like read online that you could do that. So
yeah,
um, so the game's definitely got some issues. It's not perfect. It's not a bad Tales game. We're definitely not in that space with this game, but it's waning a little bit in how like excited I am for it, I guess. So, all right. Well, we'll certainly have more to talk about with that once we both finish it. All right, Montrell. Let's move on to the news. We actually have a lot of news this week we need to get through. So, first story. This is a big one. I mean, we have a few big ones. From Video Game Chronicle, they reported last week that Konami is ramping up its premium game development and is working on new installments for Metal Gear, Castlevania, and Silent Hill. The Castlevania game is a new game that is like a reimagining of the series. Metal Gear is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, which is completely fucking random, but okay. And then the Silent Hill game also appears to be a new game, like a new entry in the series as well, being developed externally at an external Japanese developer. The Metal Gear Solid game has been rumored to be happening at Bluepoint, which we will be talking about them later. But according to VGC, it's not Bluepoint. It's another studio called, let me see, what was the name of it? Oh my goodness. Virtuos is what it's called. Yes, an external studio called Virtuos. So, I mean, Montreal, I'm going to be honest, it's been a while since Konami, fell into the shitter in terms of public opinion in the game industry. Like 6 or 7 years at this point. It was like 2015 when they parted ways with Kojima. How do you feel about this news? Does this get you excited?
To be honest, no. Because
Why
it's
not?
Konami. Because it's Konami.
Yeah, you think they're gonna
It's-
fuck it up?
yeah. I don't have any faith in them right now. I'm not getting hyped for anything. I'm actually super disappointed in well, I'm not super disappointed in the Silent Hill thing. I mean, Silent Hill has been long overdue for a new game. I'm glad it's getting a new game. But as far as like Metal Gear, I'm actually super disappointed that they decided to go with Metal Gear 3.
Yeah, that feels like the worst one to remake.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
control wise, it definitely needs an update. I just
2
recently
would
played
probably be
it.
the most awkward.
You would say that, but 3 is super awkward, man.
Well,
It's super awkward.
three only the reason I think 3 makes sense to them is that it chronologically takes place after 5, right?
Yeah, yeah,
MGS
that makes
5.
sense.
So maybe they want to do that. That's the most recent game. So maybe they want to do that and then they'll do 1 and then 2, you know. So
Well, no. Chronologically,
oh no,
3 is
3 is
before 5.
before 5. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
3 is
3 is
before
before
5.
5. That's right.
Yeah.
It's actually way before 5.
So that's why I was super disappointed because chronologically it goes 3, Peace Walker, 5. And then it goes Metal Gear 2, Snake's Revenge, and then Metal Gear Solid. So a lot of fucking people, including myself, have not played Metal Gear because it's just too damn aged really hard.
I mean,
Like
it's
it's
an
not
NES. They're NES
a,
games,
it's
dude.
they're
Like,
NES games,
yeah,
and I'm so fucking mad that they decided not to do a complete remake of this game. Like,
true,
what are we doing? Like,
true.
just remake the fucking game.
Yeah,
It's almost like a brand new game because a lot of people haven't played those 2 games yet. So it's like I don't want to play Metal Gear Solid again. Like I'm tired of playing that. Like give me Metal Gear. I want to play Metal Gear and Metal Gear Snake's Revenge because those are very very integral to the story. Like super integral actually.
yeah,
Like it's ridiculous how much those 2 games are referenced in Metal Gear Solid, the Solid
yeah,
franchise, 1 through 4.
yeah.
Not 3, but 1, 2, and 4. They reference Metal Gear 1 and 2
Metal Gear
so much.
Solid, Metal Gear Solid, going into it fresh was really confusing because they talk about those 2 games a
All the
lot
fucking,
in that game. They reference Big
especially,
Boss all the time, and you have no idea who Big Boss is. Like,
bro. I didn't know who Big Boss was for the fucking longest,
yeah,
and I'm like, and once I played Metal Gear 3, no, I played Metal Gear 2, and they're like, oh, Solid, this looks just like Big Boss. And I'm like, oh, is Big Boss their father? I mean,
yeah,
of course, they say that at the end of like Metal Gear Solid 1, but it's like, oh, okay, he looks like just like them, and they just talking about this legendary super soldier or whatever, whatever,
Hmm.
and like how Snake fought him, and with like with his wits, he used like a lighter and a spray can and burned him to death or whatever, and turned into a flamethrower and burned him. And then they even reference that in Metal Gear 4 when they have like the body that's still alive.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh yeah, you actually didn't kill me, you killed a clone or some shit. I don't
Well,
fucking
yeah,
know.
Big Boss shows up at the end of 4. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it,
Fucking
it was
serious.
it was yeah. So and that's why I'm so upset, because a lot of the story would make sense to people if they go back and play Metal Gear, if they remake Metal Gear 1 and 2. Especially Metal Gear 2, because you fight, like, even when you're fighting fucking Gray Fox in Metal Gear Solid, you're like, who was the cyborg ninja? He's like, oh, Gray Fox. He's like, yeah, I was Deep Throat, but I'm Gray Fox actually. You remember you fought me in the fucking minefield and you beat me. And that's how I died. And I'm like, bro, that would be so fucking cool to play if the game was updated. Like, I want to fight somebody hand to hand combat in a fucking minefield. That's fucking dope. You don't get that shit because it's like an old Super NES game. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't understand this choice of going with 3. I was actually fucking pissed. I didn't rant on Twitter about it. I made like 2 tweets and I let it go. But I was really pissed that if the rumor is true that they're going with Metal Gear Solid 3. I think that's the dumbest choice ever. Um, they
Well,
should have went with like Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2.
from a gameplay standpoint, too, in my opinion, or just overall, 3 is like the worst Metal Gear Solid game to me. Content wise, story wise, gameplay wise, it just didn't work for me in any way. I really didn't like that game. um, and so, I mean, a lot of people probably disagree with me on that, but um, yeah, I don't know. One would make more sense. The first Metal Gear Solid would make sense, but I agree with you. Like listening to your argument about it, like I wasn't even thinking about it, but yeah, Metal Gear 1 and 2, like they kind of deserve remakes, because those games, from what I can tell about the way the characters talk within the universe, like those games are just as fucking epic as any of the Metal Gear Solid games. Like what the shit that actually happens, like in those games, it sounds fucking badass, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, maybe we'll get there, man, if this works and takes off and is good. But yeah, MGS3 to me, I don't I don't know. I hated like the camo system in that game, the setting. I know what he was going for with the game. Like he was trying to make a campy James Bond game, and it works at some points. There's some points where it's really funny, and the game's like, it's like almost feel like a parody at times. But like there are points in the game though where it's just like sucks, dude. Like it just doesn't like feel that good to play. So um I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Silent Hill would be interesting. I mean, do you think there's any chance that Kojima is making the Silent Hill game?
I don't want to say no and I don't want to say yes. Um,
Because Sony could legitimately be a bridge in that relationship to like bridge that gap that's there.
it's funny, from what I hear, a lot of people are saying now, like, um, Konami actually didn't want him to go. He was just tired of doing what he was doing.
Hmm.
So I don't fucking know. At this point, I don't fucking know. I feel like I just have to wait. Like, I really don't have any opinions on it, man, because it's just like, it's just gonna get me frustrated.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We can move on if you want to move on. All right. Well, let's do just that. Our next story is about Final Fantasy 16. Producer or director Naoki Yoshi, um, who is also the producer of Final Fantasy 14, and he's a boss. He provided a short update in an interview, or actually, sorry, it was a live stream at TGS. He said that Final Fantasy 16's main story is content complete at this time, and they are working on side content and polishing the game, indicating that this game is much, much, much closer than I think anybody really would have thought based off what we've seen so far of it. So I don't know what you think, man, but I'm kind of feeling like we might be getting this in the first half of next year, maybe.
Whoa,
Does that
no,
sound
I
right to
think
you?
I think we might get it the end of next year.
I mean, that feels like a worst case scenario though. If
You
that's
think so? I feel like that's what they're.
I mean, dude, if the story, the main game is content complete, that means all the regions are done. Like most of the characters are done, voice acting's done, the story is written. I mean, they're doing side quests, right? Which I mean, I don't know how robust they're going to be, but given Square Enix's past, I don't think they're going to be that robust. You know, so I don't. I, you know, compared to the rest of the game, it doesn't feel like there's quite as much effort that necessarily needs to go into that. So I could realistically see it in like, you know, April or May, maybe somewhere in there. Do I sound crazy?
I think you do. I think you're approaching
Am
way.
I too optimistic?
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, come on, man. Why don't we just drop another game into February? You know, fuck it. Let's go. Let's just put every game in February in 2022, you know?
Man, I think it's gonna come in 2022. I really
Mm-hmm.
do. But I don't think it's going to be. Uh, I don't think it's going to be early, I don't even think it's going to be quarter one or quarter two. I think it's going to be like I can give you quarter three, but I'm thinking quarter four
Okay.
for sure,
Fair enough.
100% quarter
I
four.
mean, yeah, why don't we put it down? So, okay. I'm going to bet you the game is released by the end of June next year.
All right, I bet the game will be released.
After June. Yeah, why
Yeah,
don't we
I
just
mean
put it
after
there?
June,
Why don't we just put it there?
June.
Because that gives you infinity after June, you know. So you have way more leeway. I have to hit a specific window. So I feel like you have the advantage here.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right, we'll track this. We'll track this. If we forget, please remind us in the future when this game does get released or gets a release date. But are you excited for this game?
Yeah, I actually am. I'm containing my hype. I've learned
Yeah.
to do that now.
Hmm.
So I've learned to actually like just go dark on a lot of stuff, and I haven't been following it because I'm like I don't want to get too hyped for it. And I mean I'm not usually a huge Final Fantasy buff anyway, so it's like uh, and I say that and I play almost every Final Fantasy game, but it's
Hmm.
like yeah, I'm just waiting for the game to come out and waiting for them to see what they did differently. Um, I know they were trying to go action since like 10, in my opinion. 10 was like the first time they were like really trying to go like action. And I think this is the first time they made a legitimate action game. And I'm curious to see all the fanboys whine and complain about it. So let's go. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I mean, get fucked, Final Fantasy fans. You're never gonna get your traditional turn based Final Fantasy game again. I mean, your precious Final Fantasy VII was turned into an action game. You know, it's over. I mean, not really. Square still makes those games with like Dragon Quest and some of the like Octopath and shit like that. So, I mean, you still get them. But yeah, for me, I am excited about this game. I'm like you, just trying to temper my expectations. I really, honestly, at this point, I don't want to see any more of the game. I think I'm good. I'm going to play it when it comes out. I am very interested in the setting. It seems way more medieval fantasy than Final Fantasy's been in a long ass fucking time, since like 9 probably, and that is an exciting change to me. I'm kind of over the steampunk high tech Final Fantasy motif, and I think Final Fantasy 14, which is Yoshida's game now, has proven that they can pull that off, even if it isn't full on fantasy. There are high levels of fantasy elements in it. So I do think, and honestly, with him at the helm, that also excites me about this game because I think he's proven himself to be an excellent director slash producer at this point. So I think the game's in good hands. So we'll see. We shall see. All right, Montrell, let's move on to our next story. I mentioned Bluepoint earlier, and they are the focal point of this story. So, Colin Moriarty tweeted earlier this week that this is a quote, "I'm hearing through the grapevine, Bluepoint may be on a journey to Yarnum," end quote. And then he elaborated further on his Discord, that he has been told they are remastering Bloodborne for the PS5, and then they're also making a ground up sequel, which would support the rumor we talked about when Bluepoint, or not the rumor, the what Sony said when Bluepoint was acquired last week, that they are working on their own game, not just remasters. So now this hasn't been corroborated anywhere. This is pretty strictly a rumor, but this would not surprise me at all. And Colin does have a lot of sources within Sony Studios, so I would trust him as a source here, but take it with a grain of salt regardless, because we haven't heard it from really anybody else. But Montreal, do you think this is real?
Uh, I hope not. I was hoping to get an original IP.
Yeah.
And if there and no shade at Bluepoint or whatever. Um but do we really want them making a Bloodborne 2 instead of From Software?
I mean, they're gonna be they've turned into like From Soft, what, like West, like what the like they made Demon Soul, they remade Demon Souls, they're gonna remaster Bloodborne, and now they're making their own Bloodborne game. Like, I don't like, is this, are they gonna get pigeonholed into this where that like they're just making Souls games basically going forward? Because I don't, I'm with you. I don't really want that for this studio. I think their talents are like, we already have a From Soft. Like we don't need another one. And I'm, to be honest, I'm a little Souls gamed out at this point. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay on Souls right now. Like, well, I haven't actually touched a Souls game in a while, to be honest with you. The
I've
last one I
played
did.
I've played Neo 2, Sekiro, and Demon Souls in the last calendar year. So I'm definitely, I got fatigue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm talking about like actual Souls games, like the Sekiro games. Sekiro's the last one I actually like played.
Well, I'm talking like Souls like, I guess is what I
Souls like
mean.
games.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I guess you can say that. Like, I did try to play Neo too, and I'm like, I don't have the patience for this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I definitely agree with you on that front. I don't know. For me though, I don't. All right, I think I have a personal bias against Bloodborne. Um,
Oh yeah. You're not
yeah,
a
I
fan of
do.
it?
I am, but I'm not.
I've never played it. So
No, I love the game. The game's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong.
okay.
Um, the reason why it's my least favorite is because when the game came out, and I kid you fucking not, when the game came out, people act like this game was the second coming of Jesus, and I'm like, bro, Dark Souls is right there. Like
They
it's literally
still
right.
they still act that way though.
And I'm like, it's just Dark Souls with faster pace. And people are like, oh, that's what the game needed. And I'm like, okay, I can give you that. Like maybe you didn't like Dark Souls because it was slower paced. Now I completely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
When I play Bloodborne though, it feels way too fucking easy. Like it just feels insanely easy to me. And I'm like, I can see where they're going for it. It's more action combat, and I don't see why people like it. But people who like talk about Bloodborne, it's like, oh, it's just so fucking hard. No, that shit is fucking easy to me. Like coming from, and I'm not trying to be like an elitist or whatever, but like
Bro,
it's just
gamers are
easy to
bad
me.
at video games. Let's be honest. People say Neo's hard. It's not that fucking hard. People were saying Sekiro's hard. It's not that fucking hard, dude. Like, I don't want to. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to be elitist and be like get good, but it's like, man, people fucking overblow this shit so hard. Like, once you're in the game and you know how to play these games, they're not that crazy. Like, I've played hard ass games before, and this isn't in that echelon really to me. So
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It was just really weird when that game came out. Um, I don't know. It left a bad taste in my mouth because when I played the game, oh, and the story is nonsensical. Like it just makes no fucking sense. Like even when you go back and you watch YouTube videos on it, I'm like, what? It is like I was just like, what? Yeah, and the
Mhm.
hunters they were hunting the night, and blah blah. I'm like, bro, what? Shut the fuck up. I don't fucking care. Like I don't know. It's just such an
Yeah.
unnecessary story, and I love the setting, but the story is so stupid to me that I'm just like, I can't take this shit seriously. Whereas like Dark Souls, like everything makes sense, and I'm like, oh man, that makes sense. That's fucking cool. Like Bloodborne, I feel like it's like the total opposite, man. Like
Does
I
it
don't know.
though? Does it
Well, Dark Souls
though?
2 doesn't make fucking sense.
I
Like that's
mean,
just
all I
ass.
played was 3, so I'm talking to my ass.
Yeah,
I don't
3 is
know
an
if it makes
extension
sense.
of 1. So
Yeah.
to get 3, you have to play 1. But
Mhm.
like, um, yeah, 2 is like a mind of its own. And I don't know. I didn't want to get off a tangent of fucking Bloodborne. Because I'm probably gonna get fucking flamed now. But yeah, that's my fucking opinion on Bloodborne. And
Well,
I actually don't really care for the game. I don't
okay.
think it needs a fucking remaster. I think it just needs to be upscaled. Like,
Mhm.
just release a patch for Bloodborne on PS4 and
60
boom.
FPS,
Yes,
4K. There you
that's
go.
it. Release a
Release it
patch
on
and you're
PC, and that's it. Why is that not out yet? I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. My
yeah,
theory
so
on why people like Bloodborne so much is that they're Sony fanboys. That's
okay.
probably the answer.
Okay. And this is coming from a Sony stand, so
I mean,
okay.
I'm not a fucking Sony stan. Okay, compared to these people, like I'm like a Sony hater compared to the fanboys. So you know,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
give them more shit than anybody. Like so, but yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I don't know. I just like if this is all Bluepoint's working on, they got nothing else in the works. Like, dude, that's super disappointing because I'm not. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm happy people will get another Bloodborne, but I'm not. I don't really know if I care that much, you know. Because I lied. I did play Bloodborne for like an hour or an hour and a half, and I was kind of like, eh, okay. There's
Yeah, and
werewolves, you
that's
know.
how
It's
I
like,
was with it. Like
yeah.
people were like, "Oh man, Montrell, if you love fucking this,
But I don't like Souls that much in general, so I want my gameplay much faster than that in an action game. You know, that's why I like Neo. Um,
mhm.
and it just like Bloodborne is faster, but it still has that same like plotting, like it still has that same plotting feel in some ways of where it's just like it's just that dance where you're like okay, enemy attacks, okay now I attack, okay now I back off, okay now I can attack. It's like it's just it's not there's like it doesn't feel like there's a lot of fluidity to it. It's like you wait for them to attack, then you get to attack. It's like and I know Neo has some of this gameplay, but Neo's got such like there's such a humongous breadth of options that you can use at your disposal at any given time. I feel like you can enter combat in so many different ways, in that game. So maybe I've never gotten deep in a Souls game though, so maybe that's not the case. But
No, I mean I agree with you. I think um a lot of the Souls game revolves around like if you want to get like super deep, like the parrying and everything like that. But a lot of people don't got time to learn parries for each weapon and shit like that. And
yeah,
I know,
don't
fucking
got time for that.
yeah, like I know,
That's funny.
Bloodborne was different because the gun was like the parry, and I thought
Yeah.
that was a really cool mechanic. But it is essentially a faster paced Dark Souls. Um, Things really changed up, in my opinion, with Sekiro. Sekiro wasn't like you
Yeah.
wait for this character attack; like you were legitimately going
Well,
aggressive,
dude,
and then you
no,
had to
bro, that
deflect during
game,
those.
yeah. We talked about that game last year, dude. Like that game's a fucking masterpiece. Okay, it's just a masterclass of fucking game design to me. Like it's not even like the rest of these games we're talking about. Like aren't even in the same sphere to me as Sekiro. Sekiro is like it's just beauty, like pure beauty. The way the game works, like because by deflecting, by blocking attacks correctly, you are attacking the enemy. Like it just is totally different. Like it's totally different to me than Souls. So
No, I agree. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to go on a tangent about this, but yeah, I mean, it's just yeah,
yeah, we're going on a lot of tangents today, man. This is
yeah,
gonna be a meaty episode.
yeah.
All right, let's move on before we get stuck in the mud anymore. All right, next story. This is a short one, but I just kind of want to bag on Bandai a little bit. So Bandai Namco released an image. They're redesigning their logo. And it is simple, I guess. It's literally just a pink, like it almost looks like a chat bubble with Bandai Namco in like black letters in the middle. And then it says fun for all into the future. That's their logo versus the Bandai Namco, like, two symbols combined into each other with like the three different colors, like yellow, orange, and red, with Bandai
Mm-hmm.
Namco in the middle, which was supposed to symbolize Bandai and Namco merging together. Um, which it's a nice logo. I like it, but they said they want to move on into a new era of the company. And I so much. What did you think of this? What do you think of this logo?
I don't mind it. I think it's pretty.
Okay.
It's pretty simplistic.
Mhm.
That's the new modern way of designing things right now. It's
Yeah,
super simplistic.
I
So
don't like it though. It's not my style.
yeah, I understand people don't. A lot of people don't like that style, and that's totally understandable. Um, but I think that's the style they were going for. If that makes any sense. So
Fair enough. Well, go look at the logo yourself and form your own opinion about it. All right, Montrell, let's move on to our next story. It's about China again. We got more China news. China is continuing to crack down on video games. Their next group of games they are banning are games that include same-sex relationships or effeminate males, as well as games in which a character's gender is not immediately apparent. Then this is the quote from the memo that was leaked. If regulators can't tell the character's gender immediately, the setting of the characters could be considered problematic and red flags will be raised. And then the second type of game they're having issues with are games that allow players to make moral choices between good and evil paths. And here's the quote for this one. Some games have blurred moral boundaries. Players can choose to be either good or evil. But we don't think that games should give players this choice, and this must be altered. End quote. So here we go. More games getting banned in China. What do you think, Montreal?
what you want me to say? This is China, man. What you?
I mean, it's China, man. It's
Yeah,
just like, come on, dude. Like, we
like
don't think games should give players this choice. Like, how much more can you overtly say, we have control, we tell you what to do and what to think and what to feel and what to experience? Get fucked if you think otherwise. We will make you disappear underneath a rice paddy field, like, if you think otherwise. Like, that's China, and it's just, I don't, this wasn't reported on that much. I didn't see much talk about this one. This one didn't have a lot of traction, but here we are, more of this shit. It's like, and I mean, it doesn't
and
affect
you,
us directly, but
but
the
you
thing
would think
is,
it does though for like
yeah,
the sexual orientation part.
yes,
Like that's you would they're
games are going to be censored like worldwide to fit this model, to fit this mold, that China, because China's such a huge market, right? We've seen it with other games. So I guess, it is going to affect us, like, it's going to be interesting to see how games tackle this, because video games, the industry is hyper, like, left in a lot of ways, and this has become a huge trend in recent years, and that completely conflicts with this, but a lot of these companies that these people work for are beholden to China, and that's going to be interesting, I mean, a
yeah
game like Mass Effect, banned. The
instantly.
Sims, banned. Fucking Dragon Age, banned. You know, there's a lot of games that have these things in them. So,
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna do. So
yep. All right, Montreal, let's move on to our final story, and this one was fucking huge. After this has been the weirdest week. This is why I said this felt like a month all in a week. On Monday, Facebook was hacked. Humongous fucking hack. That, like, what was it, like a 1.5 billion or 2 billion users data got exposed out there. So if you have Facebook or you've ever had Facebook, lock your shit down. And then on Tuesday, Twitch gets hacked, and there's a huge source code leak that includes all sorts of shit, including the revenue for the last 3 years of creator payouts on Twitch. And this list is very interesting when you go into it. I'm not going to read all the names, but number one was Critical Role, which is the D&D campaign that they was a live show. It's not going to be a live show anymore, but they basically play a D&D game live on Twitch every week. They had like, I think 8 cast members or something like that. Very large D&D game, but very good show. They're number one at 9.6 million. And then XQC is the next at 8.4 million. And by the way, sidebar, I watched that guy's stream for like 30 minutes one day. I don't get it. Why is he so popular? I don't understand. He just like I don't get it. But a lot of names you would know here: Asmongold, Co Carnage, Mizkiff, Tim the Tap Man, which is funny because he's not on Twitch anymore. Summit, which he was number 3 actually, which is fucking crazy. But just a humongous fucking hack in general. I mean, Montrell, what did you take out of this? Like, where do you want to start? I guess with this.
I mean, I think the Twitch playouts were like huge. I think. But let's start with the hacking. Like, I wonder if Twitch is going to even address this. What are they going to do about this situation?
I mean, dude, this is crazy, right? This is like, I mean, Facebook was crazy. That's like one of the biggest fucking, websites on the planet, right? But then Twitch, I mean, Twitch isn't Facebook, but Twitch isn't negligible either. Like, I mean, I can't believe they let this happen. And if I was a Twitch streamer making money on Twitch, I would be fucking furious with them right now. Like, it's just fucking out there, like how much money you make. It's just fucking out there, dude. Like, get fucking fucked, because yeah, I mean, there's a lot, like, dude, these people are making huge money, like this group. I mean, there's people on here, like everybody in this top 100, like the lowest person on here is making this was for, because they had payouts broken down by month too, and they had September in there. The lowest payout for September was $7,387. That I can see in this tweet. And okay, that's like almost $100,000 over the course of a year, like over 12 months. Of course, they're not going to get that same amount every month. They might get more, they might get less, but let's just say that was the average, right? I mean, these people, like, you get deeper into the list, these people are making fucking bank, dude. Like, Shroud made 96,000 last month. Asmongold made 141,000. This dude's making $1 million a fucking year Twitch streaming. Like, this dude is fucking loaded, man. Pokimane, I think she was the highest paid female on this list. 38,000 payout. Like, goddamn, man. This shit's crazy, man. How much money they're making on here, So
I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so the payout is crazy, right? But how much is Twitch making?
I know, right? Right. Because they're taking, what are they taking? 25% of all this?
Yeah.
Like, they take 25% of each sub, don't they?
Yeah, depending on your contract, I think it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, they're making huge money. Twitch, they're making huge money. And there's no excuse for everything that's gone on with Twitch that we've talked about on this show, with how much money they are probably making overall. There is fucking no excuse at all that they can't, A, protect this data, B, fucking deal with all the issues we've talked about, like the rating that's happening with small streamers and minority streamers. Like, the fact that they've done nothing about that, like, what the fuck? Like, are they just running away with the money and hiding? Like the executives, like what the like, dude, you guys are probably rolling in it over there. Like, yeah, it's bonkers, dude. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't. I definitely don't get it. Like,
Yeah,
I think it's pretty nuts.
it is nuts, and like I don't know. A lot of the streamers are talking about it, but like I don't think they're like talking about it from perspective like how rich Twitch is. Twitch is fucking rich as fuck.
Hmm. Like the company, yeah, not the
Yeah,
individual streamers, right?
yeah, not the individual streamers. But like yeah, and they're just allowing this payout. That's why it's just weird. Like they're just like, yeah, this is our payout. This is how much you're making. And I don't know. I understand why people get mad when they get banned off Twitch now because that's like a huge revenue stream. That's fucking huge.
Yeah,
It's
man.
a huge revenue stream. So I I don't know, man. Like I just don't know about that. It's fucking weird. And then did you even mention like the other stuff that was leaked along with this?
Uh,
Or did you want to talk about it
no,
rather?
yeah, go ahead. You can take it. I'm not sure
Uh
what you're talking about.
like the ban list and everything of that nature.
Oh yes, that's right. The ban list. So I don't know about this one. I don't know how much I believe this. I mean, so there was like a text document leaked that was labeled "Do Not Ban List," and it had a bunch of usernames of streamers. And the thing is, though, the list is labeled "Do Not Ban," but a lot of the people on this list are actually banned, and there are reasons in here for it. You know, or somebody was explaining that the words that are in here are reasons not to ban them. So if they get like reported with that word in it, like the top person, there's like the word underage is in quotes. So if
Mm,
somebody reports them for something underage, it's like ignored for that user or something like that. So they don't take it into
okay.
account because it's like they get a bunch of like false reports for these users. So it's like a
Okay.
note list. But there's a couple people in here that specifically say escalate violations to, and then it has like a email address, a couple email addresses at Twitch. And that is, I mean, if this is real, this is proof of what we've been talking about with Twitch, that they play favorites. Like, they are not, they do not treat everyone equally. And maybe they shouldn't. Who, like, maybe it's fine that they don't, but they're not open about that. And if it was out in the open, they would certainly lie about it. If it was brought out into the limelight, like, big time. So yeah, there's definitely not everybody's on an even playing field, I guess. And that to me is a problem, because basically what this indicates to me is that people high up in the company, if they like you, you're good. If they don't like you, you're not good. Like Dr. Disrespect, maybe, or, others that have potentially been banned by Twitch. So, um, yeah. I mean, what did you think of that list?
I thought it was just interesting. Like, yeah, they show favoritism towards certain streamers and things of that nature, or certain aspects of streaming. Um, which I mean, we all knew, but like just to have concrete evidence is kind of jarring, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I think the company needs to like take a look at itself from the outside in, if that makes any sense. Because yeah, like that's pretty bad. Like you don't want to really um yeah, you just don't really want to do something like that. Like you just don't want to have everyone looking at you like, yeah, this is bad, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I
Well,
don't know. And the
I
simple
think the
fact
thing
that
is, oh, sorry, go
doc,
ahead.
yeah, the simple fact that Doctor Disrespect is still banned for no fucking reason, or
Mm-hmm.
we still don't have a reason why he's banned after all this time, is
Mm-hmm.
just weird to me. And like no one, we still don't, even without the leak information, we still have no idea why this guy is banned. So it's just really weird to me.
Yeah.
This
Mm-hmm.
whole thing.
Yeah, it is weird. And I think This is just another in a long line of mistakes and issues Twitch has had that I think they feel like they are untouchable. I think they really think their shit doesn't stink as a company, and it is gonna eventually come back to bite them. That I feel that way. Like unless they change in some way, dude, people are like, bro. If I was a Twitch streamer right now and this leaked, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't care, but I think on the other side of the coin, I'd be fucking furious, and I'd legitimately think about just going to YouTube. Like, cause like fuck that, man. Like, you're fucking like the amount of money you've made on the platform gets fucking leaked. That's fucking crazy. People just know how much money you have. Like, dude, the fucking shit on Twitter was crazy. Like, I saw like Pokimane tweet about this, and then there's just people under the comments, just dude, like 80% of the comments I saw was like, hey Pokey, can you send me like $10 for food or some shit, like just people fucking with her. And I'm sure she gets shit like that all the time, fucked up, even shit more fucked up than that, but it's like that's what it is now. Like that's gonna be the thing that they have to deal with now. Like all these streamers, it's like, like, hey bro, hey, you spare me like $10 for a sandwich, or for a Starbucks, like, it's like they're gonna get that in their fucking Twitch chats. Like, I don't know. And I don't have a problem with any of them making this money, by the way. Like,
Yeah, I don't
they're
either.
some people do. Some people do. Game developers, there's been some game developers with some real bad takes out there about this, that like, oh, they
Like,
contribute nothing, like they're fucking just making money off of our games, like, and shit. Um, and
bro,
it's like,
like I
yeah.
don't like what do they want them to do? They give you publicity.
Yeah, I think that's like it's like a boomer take. Like they're not acknowledging that streamers do contribute to their game success. Like they
That's such a
they just
bad
do.
take. Yeah,
It
that's
is a
such
bad
a.
take.
I mean, the ones I don't like, I understand where people are coming from. Like you got people like Hassan Piker, right? I don't know if you heard that
Hmm.
streamer before.
Hmm.
He's like a super leftist streamer. He's always talking about big corporations and fuck them and all that other stuff like that. He's supposed to be a socialist, but he has all this money coming in, and it's like, yeah, I understand why you guys are upset. Like he's kind of being a hypocrite, but it's like, bro, he's on the streaming platform. He's making money. I
Hmm.
I don't we live in a capitalist society. I don't know what people want, what I'm saying? Like he's not going to be living out of his car streaming to you guys. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't fucking know. Like I don't understand what people wanted from these streamers. I wasn't surprised at the numbers because a lot of the streamers I watched, they're like super transparent with their viewers. Like when the Destiny one got leaked, he's super transparent with his viewers. It's an old, not old, but when I used to be really, really heavy into League, I used to watch, and I was jungling. I used to watch one streamer, and he was like very transparent how much he make. He's like, "Yeah, I make this much a month, and I make this much a month, and I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do that." And it was like he made like $20,000 a month or some shit like that. That's like with everything combined. And he's like, "Yeah, I make like $20,000 a month or some shit like that." And I'm like, "That's crazy," but like everyone was like super appreciative that he was like dummy transparent. Like
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what people expected. Like, they just expecting these guys or these guys and girls to be living in their basements. I mean, they're
Like
making
doing
money.
this for free. Like, yeah, I don't get the take. I really don't. Because like, yeah, do you have a problem with, fucking athletes making as much money as they do? I mean, some people do for sure, but um there is value inherently created based on the number of people who interact with something, and that's what they're making money off of. um, the other thing about this, that we didn't mention is that these numbers, by the way, isn't like the total amount of money they're making. This doesn't include donations. This doesn't include merch, any YouTube revenue they have, sponsorships, all completely unaccounted for with this. So they're probably all making a lot more than what is printed on the page here, with these. So yeah, no, they're making bank. I mean, more power to them, dude. Like, I think the thing is, like, I think a lot of it comes from jealousy. Is like you wish you were making that much money playing video games for a living, and it's like, but I think that it really like belittles how much effort you need to put in as a streamer or content creator in general to be successful.
A lot of these people that have been streaming for like
Yeah.
10 plus years. I know Pokemon's been streaming for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Like at least 6 years, 6 or 7 years.
Dude, we've been
So
doing this for 3, and like we we both know we need to put way more effort into this if we want to like build it, but we don't have the time nor the energy to. It's like it's hard, man. Like just showing up for this podcast, editing it and posting it and then tweeting it out and everything else we're doing on the side, like that is not an insignificant thing for us to ramp that up further, while we both have full-time jobs and I'm married. That's not easy to do. So when it is your full-time job, I think people need to understand, like, these people are probably working 80-hour weeks. A lot of these streamers, they're streaming like Asmongold is fucking insane. The dude streams like 7-8 hours a day, like 5 days a week. And then he's doing YouTube videos, shit on the side. He's got his own fucking company like that he's running. Like, dude, like like these people are working their asses off. So it's not like they're lazy, or they're doing nothing. So that misconception is silly, to me. It's probably made by people that have never tried to do this, before. They don't really know what it takes.
you got. I have a friend. Well, I'm gonna mention her. Tiara, she's streaming now. I mean, she has a little audience and stuff, but she also has a job,
Yep.
and it's hard to fucking do that job.
She also has a job that is hard, that requires a lot of
super
extra
hard.
overtime.
Yeah.
That isn't paid. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
more power to her, like for that. Like that's a lot. That's all. It takes a lot of willpower, to do that on the side too.
So not only do you gotta deal with that, because we know what she does. I don't want to give out her job.
No, I'm not gonna say what it is, but
yeah, but you gotta deal with that, and then you gotta go and deal with kids on the stream. So it's like
yeah.
It's a deal. It's a
well.
Thing
She's also a woman. That's another aspect to this. That, as you can see in this list, like if you go look at this list, the number of females on this top 100 list is very low. So
yeah,
that's another barrier too. So,
and then to add to more of that, she's black, so it's like she has to deal with that as a black streamer, which a lot of people were upset about. They were like, we saw the bias in the streaming list. But I mean, I don't know. The whole thing is kind of weird to me. Like all the way the reactions are to it. When I saw it, I'm like, my first reaction was, "Oh, what did you expect?" Like that was
right. I thought it would be higher.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Oh, what did you expect?"
I thought the numbers would be higher. Shit.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, okay. And they're probably, like you said, they probably are, because we don't have the donations, we don't have the sponsorships. None of that. We don't have the merch. Like, we don't have none of that. So it probably is higher than that. And I don't know. A lot of these streamers, like especially the one I watch, he lives a modest lifestyle compared to what the fuck he's bringing in. And it's like,
Asmongold is a known like bum. Like,
exactly.
Like he literally, it totally admits it. He lives with his mom. Like, he doesn't even own his own house. Like, like. He's just, the dude's probably got like tens of millions of dollars just sitting in the bank or sitting in stocks or whatever the fuck. Like, and he doesn't do anything with it. He drives like a piece of shit car. He eats at fast food places. Like, he doesn't live a lavish lifestyle at all. It's like, but so yeah, some of these people aren't, like, some of them are definitely like they end up getting consumed by like the rich lifestyle. But yeah, a lot of them don't, though. A lot of them just keep living the same life they've been living, for the most part. They're just streaming full time, So
yeah, I don't know. These are hating streamers is like the absolute worst celebrities to hate. Right, because a lot of these people don't leave their fucking house. They don't do anything.
Well, they can't.
They're
they
just
also
like,
came from nothing.
Yeah, they
were
a lot
nobodies.
of them,
they were like us.
Yeah, like a lot of people like Asmongold still stay with their moms, or they just still stay in the same place. And they're like, you know what? I'm not changing anything I'm doing. I'm still living a modest lifestyle. And a
Right.
lot of them still do. And I respect a lot of them for that because they put their money in other shit. And it's
Yeah, they're
like,
not like celebrities. They didn't come from like a celebrity family. They didn't have an in. They didn't have somebody they knew that could promote them. A lot of them, like they built it from themselves. They built it from like nothing. You know, some I'm sure some of them have gotten shortcuts, especially at this point with how mature the whole environment is. But I'm talking early on, dude. Like 10 years ago, these people fucking were just grinding. They were just grinding. And it's like they just kept doing it, and then eventually it got big. So, and like again, I want to reiterate that is not easy to do. Like, it is not easy. Like, we haven't missed an episode of this show since our third week doing it, and that is not easy, guys. Like like I really want to make sure you understand that is not easy for us to maintain. Like, it's not. There have been plenty of weeks where I'm like, man, I wish we could. I kind of wanted to skip the show this week. Like I'm really tired. I had a long week. I just like I'm not feeling it this week. But no, I do it because I want to do it. And in order for anything to come of it, you need to be consistent. Like that is just an absolute key to it. So yeah, but yeah, I think the hate streamers get, I totally agree with you. Makes no sense. Why aren't we hating on some of these other fucking celebrities that are out there literally doing nothing? They add nothing to society. Like they're just rich people.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so yeah.
I don't know. It's just a weird thing to be like really upset over.
Hmm.
Um, it was a weird thing to leak, in my opinion. Like it
Yeah,
was just,
that's
I,
true.
I I think it was a disgruntled employee, but it was just a really weird thing to leak. If anything, leak why they ban people, like
Yeah.
link their banning parameters and stuff like
Yeah.
that, bro.
It's
Like
because they don't have any, dude.
yeah, and like it was just weird. The whole thing was weird to me as you were reading it, and I was like, at first I was really hyped about it coming home, and I was listening to like one of my streamers that I listen to talk about it with some other people on his Discord. I was listening to him talk, and then I was like, yeah, man, like this is crazy. And then he was like in the same mindset that I was though. After a while, he was like I don't. What did y'all expect? Like what did y'all expect? And like now, that's my reaction. I'm like, bro, what did kind of y'all? Yeah, what did y'all expect? Did y'all expect them to be making like $100 a week or something, or a month or
Yeah.
something like that? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right. All right, Moncho.
anything should motivate you to hustle harder.
I know, right? I know. Like, right? I know. This is why I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right. Let's not dwell on it. We'll move on. Okay. I had a topic in here. Um I'm kind of thinking I want to move that to next week.
Yeah, we're already at 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't want to be here for another 45 minutes talking about this cuz I feel like we will. So yeah, I'm gonna save that for next week. We actually have another topic too that I put down, but we had already decided pre-show to move it to next week as well. These are kind of more evergreen topics, anyways, so don't worry about it. It's not like super relevant right this second stuff. So we'll probably cover those next week. But we do have a question from Dat Dude that we wanna go over here. So he asked us. Well, let me start with this, Montreal. He asked. Y'all planning on playing Metroid Dread? I know you are. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's 100%. Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
It's coming out tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know is what I'll say. I think the game looks cool. It definitely looks good. I just every time I've played Metroid where it isn't Metroid Prime, I don't like Metroid. I don't know why. It just doesn't mesh with me. So um we'll see. I may grab it at some point down the road, but I don't
All
think
right.
I'm going to play it right away. So,
I
but
understand.
here's his real question. With the new games that dropped this year, what do you consider to be your game of the year so far? We'll of course have a full game of the year episode at the end of the year. But what's your game of the year so far, Montreal?
Oh man, I don't even think I played too much stuff this year, man. To be honest with you,
Me too. Me too.
like any new stuff.
This
I mean,
year has been weird. I have not played a lot of new stuff, and of the new stuff I've played, not very much of it is like game of the year worthy to me.
yeah, it's more so if I had to choose, but it's like even if I look through the past documents, man, I'm like, I played a lot of old stuff. Like I
Me
was
too.
going through and playing a lot of old stuff. So
Yeah.
honestly, if I had to choose right now, it'll be Tales of Arise. I haven't played Kina yet. I'm really looking forward to playing
Mm,
that.
hmm
I'm looking forward to playing Metroid Dread, and I'm looking forward to playing Battlefield. Um, I think it was another game
Mario
come.
Party.
Yeah, Mario Party. There's another single player game coming out that I wanted to play too. Fuck, I
Uh,
forgot.
Not Deathloop. Are you talking about this month or next month?
I think it was like next month and the month after next.
December. Dying
Uh
Light 2 got delayed.
oh
There's
shit.
The Advance Wars thing, the
Oh
remake.
yeah, I need to play Advance Wars
That's
exactly.
in December. That's in December.
I need to play Halo Infinite, obviously the
Oh yeah.
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Um, and then Battlefield. I already mentioned that. And there are a couple like indie games I wanted to play. I know that Hell Breaks Loose first person World War II shooter. That came out. I want to play that. Um, and there's a couple other indie games that I saw on the Switch direct a while ago. I need to play. It's just like, bro, when I say that dude and Nerdy Sage, man, when I tell y'all, I don't know what y'all got going on in y'all lives, but for me and Justin, if we had a whole life slice of life podcast, holy shit, 2021 would be a fucking Netflix movie for us.
Yeah,
Like,
2020 and 2021 have been wild for us personally, both of us. And dude, when I say my last 6 months, I could write like a book about it, and I think people would find it highly interesting.
yeah,
Um, I'm not kidding. My personal life not super interesting, but dude,
it's
my
more
my
so our
work,
job life.
my
Yeah, man.
yeah, career wise, I have been through the wildest roller coaster this year that
I
I never want to experience again.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean, and for both of us, it ended out good.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
yeah, it
The
was.
journey here sucked though.
Oh my fucking god, bro! And I know you said game of the year, but I just had to explain why I'm so low in the games
Same.
this year. Because I play a lot of games that I don't want to get all too personal and shit. But I play like if I go back and play games, like they kind of help with my depression, and
Hmm.
nostalgia kind of helps with that shit and everything like that. So I did this year was like very heavy hitting for me, just because of all the career, not the career change, but the career path or the journey
Tumult.
rather. Yeah, the
Yeah.
journey that I took. Um, it was just wild, and I don't want anyone to go, even though it ended out really good for me. It could have easily with one wrong step or one wrong mindset could have turned out really bad for me. So
Hmm.
I think Justin could um can attest to that with his journey as well. It could have one wrong step could have really ended bad
Well,
for him.
dude, a lot of mine feels like just pure luck. You know,
Yeah.
I like there's certain moments where I like broke mentally, and I just kind of made a decision that I ended up reversing because of some circumstances allowed me to reverse the decision, and I
Mhm.
feel really lucky that both of those happened because
Yep.
I would be miserable where I was going to go probably.
I would say as far as career
So
path for both of us, it was like a Mass Effect game. Like the choices we had to make. That's
dude,
exactly how
yeah.
I felt.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Like
Yep.
a lot of them were game altering choices. You're
Like
like,
Morden's dead,
yeah,
or he's alive, It's like
yeah,
those kind of choices, man. I mean, not really like people didn't die or anything like that, but it's
yeah,
not that dire. But it's like,
yeah.
but that level of permanence, I guess, is what we're trying to get at.
Exactly, yeah.
Um,
Like you made it the suicide mission in fucking Mass Effect 2. You picked the wrong people.
yeah,
Like
you
these
fucked it up.
sequels, yeah, you fucked it up. So
So yeah,
yeah,
I'm totally with you, and that's why I think this year has been weird for us. Like we've continued doing the show. I'm really proud of us, by the way, for not missing a week with this, given everything that's happened for us, for both of us in our personal lives. So that's kind of what I was getting at earlier, is that it's not like there's always shit happening behind the scenes,
yeah.
for everybody. And we're not just talking about ourselves. Like everybody has that. That's why doing this on the side or even as your full-time job is not easy to do. So, but yeah, that's why for me, I'm in the same boat as you. I've not really played a lot of new games this year. I have really let my whims take me in
Yeah.
weird directions.
Yeah.
I've just kind of played things that I wanted to play, and like, because yeah, it started with like Neo 2 after we played Monster Hunter, or even before we played Monster Hunter. I was playing Neo 2 with my brother, and I played that for like 2 months, with him. And then eventually we got onto Final Fantasy, and then I went into that deep MMO phase I was in for like 3 months, so I didn't really play anything else besides maybe Apex in that period of time. So in terms of new games that I played this year, it was really like Monster Hunter Rise, I think, Hades, which isn't technically even new game this year. It was just new on the platforms I played it on. And then Tales. I think that's it. I don't think I've played anything else that's like brand new this year. So I've got 3 months to like play some other games to actually build a game of the year list. And I'm like, I'm not sure what we're going to do when we get to that episode, if we'll even do it, or we'll have to do something different with it. If we aren't able to have like full lists, that's just the way the year went for us. Because to be honest with you, there was not a lot of new releases up until September that were interesting. Like, I think the first 3 quarters of this year really sucked for games. This was not a good year for game releases, in my opinion, and it's changing. It's already changed now. We're in the middle of it, the good period now. I think, like, going in through up through like April next year.
Yeah.
But so it's just kind of the way the year went. It kind of balanced itself in the wrong way, where it was really back heavy, for us, and that's going to be tough because like we don't have a lot of time to like I don't have a lot of time to play. It's like if I want to play single player shit, I have to sacrifice a lot of the time we play multiplayer games with our friends in order to like get through shit really fast. So, and I don't necessarily want to do that, So, um, we'll see. But in terms of my game, like my pick, what's my current game of the year so far? I know this is cheating, but it is Hades. It's not even close. Sorry, Tails. Sorry, Monster Hunter. Hades is incredible. Like, it's an incredible game. It's super fun, super addicting. It's an indie game as well, so it's one of the best games I've played in. It feels like multiple years, probably. Like, I'm thinking of like Nier Automata as probably the last game I'd put up there in terms of how much I enjoyed playing it. You can't really compare those games, but just like my enjoyment level, that's like the last game I can think of that was like that high, probably. So that's mine. Yours is Tales?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I really played that was really new this year. I'm trying to think of other stuff, but
Poor
maybe
Monster Hunter, dude. Monster Hunter Rise just getting fucking buried, dude. Just buried.
bro, it's not
Oh
going to be
man.
game of the year until next year. I
No,
guarantee it's going to be.
agreed. Right. Agreed. We're gonna rant about that when it comes out, I'm sure, next year. But yeah, agreed. Yeah, it'll be game of the year next year. So,
Yeah, 100%. I learned my lesson, though, I'll tell you that much.
but thank you for the question, Dat Dude. We appreciate it. We love answering them. Okay. Well, Montrell, is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we go today?
No, I think I'm tired. I got to get back to the kittens.
Yes,
So.
I'm fucking exhausted. So let's close it up here. So if you like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with either of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at Thundernut01, and the show is at the Players Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that is it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next week. Bye.